coming to the prison and you just have no one. You don't know anybody. You're scared of half the people. And then they give you this dog and they're like, here, this is your dog. You're going to take care of it. It's like you finally have a friend. I struggled with anxiety and depression since I was really young. I was about 15, 16. I started off pills, prescription pain pills, and I was doing meth. And that is what I ended up getting arrested for. When I got arrested, I had the mindset of I like to get high, so I'm gonna keep doing that when I get out. But it was still extremely frightening. I was in there with women who have done some extremely crazy crimes, and I'm just like, I've never been in trouble before. Like, I was just a drug addict. Like, I do not belong here. I ended up going to Madison Correctional, which is a minimum security prison. They call it a work camp. So you don't just get to come and just sit there and do your time. You have to do something. So for 8 hours a day, I scrubbed the stairs with a toothbrush. Figured out quite quickly, pretty much the first day, that was a horrible way to spend my time. So I started investigating, what are the options? And one of the programs is the dog dorm. For you to learn to train the dogs. So they come from animal shelters. So they were normally dogs that were scheduled to be euthanized. So dogs who were aggressive, dogs who were sick, needed trained before they could get adopted. They would come to us instead of being euthanized. I mean, they have these programs at prisons all over America. These really hard, tough criminals who have had awful lives and have done really awful things look at a dog and they see themselves in the dog. They've been abused. They've gone through things, they felt rejected, and that's exactly what they see when they look at these dogs. There was a man on the dorm that was he was the guard, but he also ran the program. He saw the work that I'd done with the 3 other dogs that I'd gotten adopted, and so he said, I'm gonna give you Darla. And I was like, I don't want that dog. She was by far the worst dog on the dorm. She had the most issues. She was covered in tumors. She was extremely aggressive. So she kept being passed around because nobody really didn't know what to do with her. To be honest, I think that is what made her special to me, that everybody thought she was so awful. And that's not what it was. She was afraid. So she was just acting out aggressively because it was all she knew. Within a week of me working with her, she'd already made more progress than she'd had the whole time she'd been in there. My time at that prison would have been so awful if I hadn't had her. I don't know what I would have done. I mean, there were drugs everywhere. I solely stayed sober because I wanted to be sober to spend time with Darla. I couldn't worry about myself and my own anxiety and my own issues because her life depended on me and I needed to be there for her. We just kind of clicked, and I figured out pretty soon that I wanted to take her with me. So I saved up my commissary. I want to say it was $1 a day. She was $60 to adopt her, and I adopted her. It was Christmas Eve, released you at midnight, and me and Darla got to walk out there together. So I had Darla on her leash, and there's snow on the ground. I'm like, come on, girl, let's go. We're trying to jog to the gate. I know for absolute fact that if I had just gotten a slap on the wrist and gotten probation or whatever that may be, I would have went straight back to doing drugs because I wanted to go straight back to doing drugs the entire time I was locked up until I got on the dog dorm. The harsh sentence didn't save my life. The dogs saved my life. And so from there, I worked at Barkafellers, which is a doggy daycare place. And after being there for a little while, I was like, I can do this. I don't need to do this for minimum wage. I can do this out of my house. I can do this do this on my own. So I decided I was going to start my own business. And I also signed myself up for this intensive outpatient program. Well, there was a guy in the class, and so that's where I met my husband. Somebody would have told me when I was sitting in that county jail, first arrested, that, 5 years from now, you're going to be married with a home and a business that you own. I would have been like, you are lying. There's no way. I'm not capable of that. I have 4.5 years clean. It's always a struggle. So that's why I know if I didn't have my dogs, there's no way I would stay clean. I wouldn't have a reason enough to. Here, Darla. Can you see? Hi. They think she's about 15 years old at this point. So we're just kind of monitoring her and making sure she still has quality of life and all that. I feel like it happened to somebody else almost, and I watched it happen, and now I'm telling the story. I mean, it's just so crazy the way that everything happened. You might not get out and start a dog training business, but get out and find something. Are you into music? Do you like to draw? Like, what is it that you like? That is what is going to save you.